Hey, good morning, folks. It's Commander's List time. Let's get started and let's have some fun today. Let's really kind of geek out on some numismatic stuff that normally I'd probably try to gloss over a little bit. But with 12 coins now, let's make a commitment to making these videos a little bit longer. Obviously, you can fast forward if you want, if you've already owned several 09S VDBs, but let's go ahead and just kick it off here. So 09S VDB Fine 15 CAC. You've heard me talk about these before, but let's discuss liquidity real quick in coins. This is a blue chip coin, right? It's common, high demand, and it's very liquid with tight spreads. Like if you think about it as like a stock, like this is Johnson & Johnson, right? It's always going to be in demand, always going to be there, not going to be a huge return on your investment, but it's in the 100 Greatest Coins book. It always has people that are looking for it because it's a key date. Let me see here real fast. I just polished this slab, but it still has a little stuff on it. So 09S VDB, I mean, what's not to like? This coin particularly is got really wholesome look, no real big marks, kind of like light wood grain toning left over. I bought like a little deal of these a couple months ago and I've been slowly just releasing them. There's tons of them on the market. You can find them. It's like a price point and eye appeal coin. Like go out and find the best one that you can for the price that you can afford, and then you just squirrel it away. It's in your collection. It's in your treasure chest. This coin is $1,200. It's kind of interesting. You know who buys most of these coins from me? Dealers. For like $50 less than what I'm offering this one at. And they buy them, and I don't know what they mark them up at. You know, like I said, it's a tight spread. But it's kind of an interesting thing to think about in the numismatic market. All right. 1937D XF45 CAC. Great looking piece. There's the old three legs. Too much dye polishing. That's what caused it. Polished away that piece of the buffalo, and all of a sudden you have a numismatic curiosity piece that is, again, relatively common. These are not super hard to find. So you go out and you find the best one that you can. You know what I love about this piece, and you've heard me talk about this before too, XF45. If you put a gun to my head and said you can only collect one grade, this would be the grade, XF45. My next grade would be AU58, and then my grade after that would be like gem and above. But this is just pure piece of Americana. It's $1,400. They trade around this range all the time. High demand coin again. All right, now let's switch gears. Now we're going into something more classic. 1837 half dime, mint state 65 CAC. This coin is definitely much rarer than the previous two. Let's talk about the coin in general. All right, soft luster, no rub on the thigh. Let me grab my pointer here. This is one thing you always want to look at on these coins. This area right here, no discoloration, right? True gem. I would say, however, this coin is 65B coin. I'd even call it maybe like a B minus. Not a ton of luster, but very, very, very clean field. A lot of space on this coin, even though it's a half dime relative. And virgin original. It's got that kind of like, I call it like an olivine look. Kind of almost looks like a soapstone. The luster underneath is soft and attractive. Hammered strike. These come well struck, by the way. But look at the leaves. Like every leaf and like the individual little middle part of the leaf has delineation. Fun thing about this design, I think that this is the most pure design, the Gobrick design with no stars. It's a fun little three-piece set. You can get the half dime, the dime, and the Gobrick dollar. Those are the only ones that exist. for that little 3-piece go bricked purist typeset, I would say. The dollar gets expensive, and unless you're going to get a 38.0 dime, the dime is also achievable, even in mint state grades. This coin is $3,600, and fun piece to put away in your box of 20 for sure. All right, switching gears again. Now a perfect type coin, 53.0 VF30 CAC arrows. Nice circulation cameo. 53.0s are a little bit harder than the 53, which is the ultimate type coin, because it's only, the arrows are only for a couple years. This is pure collector coin right here. Not really much to say. A lot of people know about this, but this is like the next grade down that is still has a lot of meat, can be found with lots of eye appeal, and is a great grade to put together a typeset if you want it to match. I can never overemphasize how important it is when you're building a collection that the collection has a theme, it has a matching, it brings together in some holistic way. You can make that up and you can develop that narrative, but just make sure it does. Like, make sure when people are looking at your collection that it makes, like, quote unquote sense. Like, it just makes sense. Like, a coin doesn't look out of place. And you can do that around lower grade coins like this. This coin's $225. It's not going to break the bank. Go out and try to put together a typeset that looks like this. Original, CAC'd, circulation cameo. And trust me, it's going to take you a while. It's going to take a long time. All right. 1824. It's common Overton, by the way. PCGS AU55, really beautiful sort of steel gunmetal blue with oranges and a little bit of red. Lustrous. This little piece right there is on the holder. I need to polish that out. Missed that one. Like I almost always do. I hate polishing slabs. It's like the worst, well, not the worst job as a coin dealer. Shipping is the worst job as a coin dealer. Reverse, very similar. Lots of detail. Never going to be a 58. At least not a 58 CAC. 58s, you need to see this luster go all the way into the fields. Okay, that's something to always keep in mind on a bust $50. But it's hard to argue with the originality of this coin. This coin is $750, kind of like in line with what they've been going for. And, you know, you got to talk. Again, if you put a gun to my head and said, what one coin would you buy if you had to buy only one type of coin? Catch bust $50. So much variety, so much fun. They're available enough because they were such workhorses in the economy that you can still find them. You can still find them with some difficulty, but not impossibility in original condition like this. Just stack them. I mean, they're not making any more of them. There's always some idiot out there dipping a coin like this. You dip a coin like this in AU, done. It's done. There's almost certainly something done underneath would pop out. You don't want this coin white. You want this coin looking like this. All right. Almost halfway through here, and we're going. I love the variety. We get so much variety when I can do 12 coins. I love it. To a proof $50. This coin has a light cameo underneath. You can see the kind of the frost underneath that. Blues, yellows. This type of coin right now, I'll tell you right now, not in vogue in today's market. People want them white. This is not dark. If it were dark, it wouldn't be on the commander's list. It's got a really pretty toning on the reverse, and you can see that cameo underneath. 90s often have a cameo, but it also has that pretty pinkish green. Love the reverse of this coin more than the obverse. The obverse is nice just because of that cameo, but the reverse just has a pretty toning pattern, almost in a gradation from darker to lighter all the way across. Beautiful piece. $4,000. When you can buy stuff that's out of vogue and you can buy it relatively cheap compared to what it's been going for throughout the years, it's always a good time to pounce. I love proof seated half dollars. I love proof type in general. All right, what do we have next here? Okay, yes, now we're back in the flash. 1915S Barber 64 CAC. Little toning, discoloration right there on the cheek, just pointing it out. You tilt it. It's not schmutz. I looked at it. It's a toning spot. Doesn't really show up unless you go at an oblique angle. Really, really flashy coin. Never gonna be a 65. See how that, gotta move a coin around, right? Like when you're grading a coin, you gotta move it. You can't just look at it in one spot like that right there. It looks like a freaking 6. Move it around, see how it sparkles. Like get the coin to try to sparkle. That's how you see the marks, right? But boy, is it flashy. 15S has come that way. Reverse is really nice. Good looking piece. $1,500. Great type coin. I still like barbers. You know, I love barbers in all grades, but I still like them in XF. Like, I think that's just like the way to go. I'm not trying to talk you out of that coin. You should buy it if you want unk, but I don't know what it is about the contrast or like the flatness of strike on barbers, but I just feel like they look better whenever they're perfectly original circulated, and they're impossible to find that way, even common date. All right, Connecticut. Common coin, badass eagle. One of my favorite eagles. It just looks like it's like a stocky wrestler. Like it should be like on the WWE of eagle wrestling. And my favorite obverse, I think, of any commemorative. Maybe the Pan Pack 50 cent is a little bit better, but just a tree, just the beautiful charter oak. This is a blue chip commemorative, like most commemoratives are. $535. I love it when it has like that little bit of russet framing around it. Coin's original too, never been messed with. All right, 1880 Carson City. Wow, this coin I love. Old fat slab holder, CAC sticker. This is on the coin, so this is a light grays. That's the only reason why this coin is not in a 6 holder. But the coin, like the cheek, yummy, 6. Luster all there. Let's geek out a little bit about Carson City fabric. You'll get your spouse all excited if you start to talk about Carson City dollar fabric. So if you're a Carson City collector, okay, what do you need to know? You need to know, and I'm serious when I say this, you really do need to know how an 80 Carson City should look. And it should look like this. They do not come like an 84 Carson City. They do not come like a 79 Carson City. So, you know, it has this sort of satiny look to it. They don't come flashy proof-like very often on an 80 Carson City. They come this satiny sort of look. And the reason why I mention it just for those individual dates, if you want to divide them up equally, there's the flashy dates, the 84 Carson City, 79 Carson City dates, and then there are satiny dates, the 80 Carson City, the 81 Carson City, 78s to a certain extent. But if you're collecting these coins, get out to shows, to major shows, and just go look at these coins. Look at them with CAC stickers too, because lots of times the ones without have been kind of effed with. But learn how they look, because eventually you're going to run into these coins in the raw, and you're going to have an opportunity to buy them raw. And if you know what they should look like, you should know what to pay, right? You're not going to get buried in a coin because you're buying one with altered surfaces. Anyway, it's just part of being like proficient at numismatics, and having a coin like this in your collection to see the fabric of the coin is such an important part. So anyway, end of lecture. $1,950. Love this coin. Firm on it. Don't even try to chisel me. I will laugh in your face. All right. 1890, another fabric coin. I mean, there's not a lot of people out there being like, oh, I want a whole P-mint set of Morgans. Some people do, I guess. But again, 90 Carson Cities. You should know the fabric of what a 90 looks like compared to, an 87 or a 1901. God forbid a 1901, right? 1901s might be the worst. But 87s are not really super great a lot of times. I don't know, 84s, 81s. 90s come a little bit better. They tend to have some flash to them. Sometimes they don't. This is what I call like a split personality coin, like overall. Sometimes 90s come nice. Sometimes they look kind of pebbly and gross. But if you know that, if you know that a 90 has two different minds, then you can try to search one out that looks like this. That's why this is on the commander's list. This is a flashy 1890. It's only 220. Is that right? $225? That seems cheap. Yeah, well, I'll have to check my number on that. That's what I have written down. I always think that 90s go for a little bit more, but which they do, I mean, compared to an 81S. But again, perfect holder. Let's make this $250. This coin's worth more than 225. Just a hair of toning on there. That actually brings the value down, by the way. Like, a lot of people want their coins original and white. Original white flash without any toning. This is almost certainly imparted by the holder. All right, we're getting down to the end. Another fabric coin that you should definitely know. 1904S in 64 CAC. 04S's, I think maybe of all the S, like 02S's kind of come similar. But if you're an S-mint collector, like, you should know the difference between what an 04S and, if you're lucky enough to be able to afford one, like a 93S should look like. 93S in Unk is like, chef's kiss, amazing. Like, it'll knock your socks off. 04S's, they come greasy. This is actually on the less greasy side of what an 04S would look like. The toning is lovely. This is in the quote-unquote wrong holder for the market. If it doesn't sell here, I'm going to cross it to PCGS and sell it, because the market tends to want more PCGS coins. The reverse of this coin looks like it was stored reverse down, maybe in a punch album. I don't really know. So it's got more of that mottled sort of look to it. Toning, I don't love the reverse on this coin. I love the obverse. That's why it made the commander's list. This coin's $7,250. 04S's are not easy. It is a semi-key date. And again, know your fabrics. Go look at what these things look like in the wild. So when you come and find one raw, you can be like, yes, I know what to pay for this coin. And it's real versus played with. Okay, 1885S. Now here's one. Let me lament my situation in the market, right? So I am 50 years old. I've been a dealer for 26 years. So when I first started dealing slabs that had already been out for, I don't know, 15 years, something like that. So when I think of my own knowledge of what individual gold dates should look like this 85S, this is not a particularly difficult one, because they can be glumped into like kind of the type 3 S-mint fabric. But like, sometimes I wish I could just travel around in like Doug Winter's suitcase and just listen to him talk about the fabric of coins like this, because coins like this are not really easy to find anymore. You can't go on the bourse and look at them in great quantity. You can go to the auctions, like you can still find coins in auctions and look at them. Over half of them are effed with. But it's just, I wish I would have been earlier into the scene. Now I'd be older now and probably close to dead, so there is that piece. So I'm not really super complaining, but I wish I could go see more stuff like this in the raw to see what the actual fabric of these coins look like. I can picture some of it in my mind's eye, and you kind of know what gold should look like, but there's some nuance, like especially like in matte proof gold. And I remember going back into the Smithsonian with Rick Sear and Andy Lustig and just like looking at the coins and trying to figure out, even then, you know, a lot of the Lilly collection is not original. But I don't know. It would have been fun to have been a fly on the wall or working these shows in the 60s and 70s. And you know what? If you're just starting out, you know, you're going to have your own set of challenges in trying to figure out and developing your eye. But the biggest thing is look at coins, listen to people that have been out there. I love to listen to like Albanese and Sear and Nugget and all these guys that have been doing this for so long. And yeah, it's just such a joy to really understand what you're looking at in a holder, with or without a sticker, and even better if it's raw. This coin, by the way, $12,000. Fairmont definitely increased the population. I'd have to look up like how many more it did. Still a very popular coin though. It used to be a lot more difficult to find one of these in 64 CAC. 12 grand. And with that being said, if this is your first time listening, hit the subscribe button if you like to listen to me geek out about coins. And yeah, holler if you want to buy any of these. All you have to do is send me a text. You can write on anything with a timestamp, anything on the comments on YouTube. And I don't know, I hope you guys are having a great time at Central States. I am not there. I don't travel to a lot of shows. Too much to do here, and I love my family too much. So with that being said, until next week, happy hunting.